Hello, how you doing? Good to see you. How are things? Hope you're doing well. It's been a long time since we've done a little video like this. Just an update video of me talking to the camera, talking to you guys, and that's mostly because nothing interesting has happened to me in my life in the last probably 2 years since I did a video like this. But the point is, something interesting is happening, some exciting things are happening that's going to affect the channel and the content, and I want you guys to know about it. Also, you can tell my voice is not doing great right now. Not quite sure if I'm ill. I don't know. I don't feel ill, but my voice sounds like I am, so hopefully it gets no worse than this and it won't affect making videos. So let's dive straight into it. The first thing to talk about is obviously me switching up from full-time at my actual job to going part-time there and essentially being a part-time YouTuber slash streamer slash football manager player. It is a huge life change. It's very scary, but very exciting at the same time. So Tom, why have you decided to do this? Well, essentially, as the channel has been growing, the revenue has been growing with it as well, whether that's through the YouTube ad revenue, whether it's through Twitch subs, whether it's through the Patreon, whether it's through sponsorships. It's all growing to the point where, you know, it's getting to that sort of job-ish level sort of pay. I mean, not quite, you know, the £1 million mark or anything like that. In fact, nowhere near anything like that. In fact, it's nowhere near full-time levels yet, which is why I'm only dropping to part-time stuff at the moment. But the point is, I'd rather do something that I wholeheartedly enjoy, that I just about get by on, rather than doing a job which I hate and it really brings me down for more money. Well, maybe if I was offered £1 million to do something that I hated, I might do that. But essentially, the job I'm in right now, I don't particularly enjoy that much, and it does get me down every now and again, and you don't feel great. And I'd rather feel quite good and happy. So whilst I have tried to get other jobs in the meantime, obviously as well, because I've not been quite so happy in my job, you know, you go through the various stages of screening and like telephone interviews, and then you get to the actual interview, and that's where I get let down the last stage and don't get offered the job. So whether I'm just terrible in that situation, or the universe is trying to tell me that no, you don't need these jobs because you're going to do this as a job at some point, I'm not quite sure the universe is that powerful, but it's nice to think that sometimes to make yourself feel better. Either way, the point is, this is now the path that I'm on, and it's quite cool. So the plan is to go from, you know, part-time right now and try and use the extra time that I've got to really push content, make better content, and hopefully in the next 12 months be in a position where I can go to just full-time this. So although this is really exciting and it is the right thing to do, it's still very scary at the same time, because whilst I've dropped down to part-time at work, the full-time hours that I used to have been taken by someone else. So potentially if this doesn't work out at all and I have to think, right, I need to go back to doing an actual job, like I've got to go somewhere else to get a full-time job, and that's not easy in the current job market and climate and stuff like that. So there's the little bit of, oh, that's quite scary. But I can take this risk because of a very specific set of circumstances that are surrounding me at the moment. One, I'm still very young. I'm 24 years old, so I can afford to take this risk. I've got no dependents on me. I've got no children. I've got no mortgage. I've got not a lot by sound of things, right? But essentially, where I am in my life right now, I can take this risk and know that if it doesn't work out, I'd be okay. But on the flip side, that may have just sounded like I play too much Football Manager in my childhood bedroom and no one loves me. Either way, the part-time stuff, essentially how it works, I started this past week at part-time stuff, which is very exciting. So Mondays and Tuesdays, I am full TomFM. That's what I do. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm still working at my job. So that's it's a nice little balance. You know, the rubbish days, only 3 of them a week now, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Friday's a Friday, and everyone likes Fridays. So that's not too bad, to be fair. So already this past week, I have felt an awful lot happier just doing the TomFM stuff instead. It's so weird how much happier I felt this past week. Of course though, because the whole idea is to go full time with this, I am going to be opening up the YouTube memberships as well. Essentially, that is just the same as Patreon or a Twitch sub, but on YouTube. You get all of the same benefits as you do from Patreon or the Twitch subs. You get access to the TomFM podcast that I bring out every single month, where we talk about content and life in general and stuff like that. It's really interesting. And well, I think it's interesting. I hope it is for you guys as well. And then of course, if you subscribe to a certain level, you also get access to renaming regens in my saves and stuff like that, which is good fun and cool. And you also get access to a special area in the Discord as well, although as I'm recording this, I don't think the integration is properly working, so I'll update you on that shortly. If you know, it should be working at some point soon, but as I record this right now, it isn't. But that might just be because I've not pressed go live on the YouTube membership stuff just yet as I record this. But there are 3 reasons that I want to explain to you as to why I'm opening up the YouTube memberships. The first one, as I think I've basically said already, I'm trying to go full time in this, so the more income, the better, essentially. Number 2, Patreon ever only really gets mentioned when new people sign up to it, and that's kind of the only sort of mention you get of the Patreon. Whereas on the YouTube memberships, right next to the subscribe button, there's a button that says join, so it's kind of like always there as a I can't say the word, I'm going to struggle. Subliminal. It's there as a for goodness sake. It's there as a subliminal message. There we go. Nailed it that time around. Only like the 4th or 5th attempt. It's there as that. So then you can always see it, and it's, I don't know, maybe a bit of marketing and clever psychology. And then 3, I know a lot of people want to support the channel but don't feel comfortable signing up to an external website like Patreon, or they don't use Twitch and stuff like that, so it's just another avenue to people to support the channel if they want to. Obviously, don't feel like you have to sign up, and if you do sign up, don't feel like you have to stay there. If you just want to do like the 1-month subscription or something like that, then that's absolutely fine. Any support is absolutely massively appreciated. And of course, the best support is always liking the videos, leaving comments and sharing it around with your friends. That's always the best you can. And watching the adverts as well, that's always quite handy too, watching the adverts. So moving on from the part-time stuff, what also is very exciting and basically a dream come true is I am doing commentary for Lincoln City this season, which is pretty mental. I actually first found out about this opportunity through you guys. You guys were tweeting me, because Lincoln City put a tweet out saying we're looking for some commentators for this season, and I think about 3 or 4 of you guys tweeted me and said, Tom, apply for this. So I did. It's not quite regular commentary or what you'd expect commentary to be. This is audio description commentary, which I'll explain a little bit more later on, but it's a different style of commentary. Essentially, it's for fans with visual impairments or disabilities who are at the game, want the atmosphere, but struggle to follow along with the game because of whatever impairments or disability they have. There's a few of those guys at Lincoln City. So some Lincoln City fans got together to raise money to buy all the equipment for this audio description commentary, and essentially they did that, raised the money, and then I got asked to do the job. Well, it wasn't quite as simple as that. I had to go through a rigorous application process. We had to answer some questions on an email, send that off. If they were happy with those questions, we then got to do some commentary, send a clip of commentary into them, and then once that went through, I was invited down to a training day for audio description commentary with 12 people there, and that was going to get narrowed down to 3 people to do the actual commentary, and luckily for me, I got through to do the actual commentary, so very excited about that. So that was just before the season started. When the season did start, a few people were away, a few people caught COVID. So actually, the first game that we did was actually the Rotherham game the other week, which we drew 1-1, and then we did the Ipswich game where we lost 1-0. So it's not been a great start for Lincoln City whilst I've been at the stadium. I was going to try and actually get a bit of footage of me in the stadium doing the commentary, but one, it was my first game and second game. I didn't want to take a camera there and start filming myself in the middle of the media pen and looking like a bit of a plonker. But also, I've actually found out since that because we are doing live commentary and it's at 3 PM and in the UK you've got the 3 PM blackout, if I rebroadcast myself doing that commentary, that would be breaking EFL licensing rules and I would be in a lot of trouble. So actually, even if I wanted to, I couldn't do it. But essentially, the primary focus of audio description commentary is saying where the ball is at all times. Essentially, we're talking to people who have trouble seeing and they can't follow the game very well. So the primary focus is saying where the ball is at all times. And you've also got to be really descriptive as well. Whereas on TV or on YouTube, for example, when I'm talking about Football Manager, I might say, oh, that's a lovely shot from Jan Cavalcanti. You can't say that on audio description commentary because what does a lovely shot look like? You've got to say something like, it's a right-footed shot, low, 20 yards out, into the bottom corner, goal. You've got to be really, really properly on it and descriptive. So it's going to take a few weeks to get up to pace because it is a completely different skill to what I'm used to, but I'm very excited for the challenge. And of course, it's a huge, stepping stone in a way to do commentary for other things in real life as well. I'm really excited about it and very grateful. The guy who did the training for us, actually, he had done audio description commentary for the European Championships this summer. So he was all over Europe doing loads of games, audio description, and it just seems so cool. So whether I'd want to stay doing audio description commentary and working my way up to doing all that kind of stuff, that would be good fun. But also, I'd like to think it would open avenues and doors to doing commentary for the BBC or ITV or Sky or something like that down the line. And As if it was planned for this part of the video, I've also been using the One Football app, the sponsors of today's video, to get all of my information on the Lincoln City team, but also the opposition team. It's actually really useful. All the information that I need as a commentator is on the One Football app. So I do all of my research on there, which is fantastic. But it's also the best football app out there to keep up to date with all of the latest football news, scores and updates from around the world. You can download it for absolutely free from the top line of the description, and doing so would really help me and the channel out. So the next bit is a little bit more about the channel again. Let's talk about Football Manager 2022. The game is not long away. I reckon about a month or so until the beta comes out, with obviously the main game being released on November 9th. I think it's such a cool story, of course, with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney coming into the club and taking over as owners. I think we can do so much with the storyline there, and I just think it's too good not to do, essentially. And after over 100 episodes of On the Rocks, it's going to be nice to play some different teams rather than the same 15 or so every single season in Scotland. When it comes to the beta though, I've not really properly decided as to what I want to do, essentially. I think, tell you what, I'm going to put it to a vote. If we go to the community tab on my YouTube page, there will be a vote there. I think we're either going to do Man City, right? We obviously have the attacking talent of Man City. How we get that into a system and work it all together, I don't know. Can we try and sign Harry Kane? Let's try and sign Harry Kane. Or we do a save with Brentford, newly promoted. Let's see if we can keep them up and see if we can, I don't know, make use of wide wing backs or wide centre backs, whatever they're called in the game. I can't remember now. Wide centre backs. See if we can use those and save ourselves from relegation. So I'll put a vote on the community page and get voting in it, and then we'll decide who we're going to do for the beta. In terms of streaming over on Twitch, I reckon for at least the beta and the release dates to start off with, I will be live most days on there, as well as obviously making content on YouTube for you guys. Currently, at the moment, I stream every Monday and Wednesday at 5 PM UK time, and then either a Saturday or a Sunday. It depends when I'm doing Lincoln City commentary. If I'm doing the commentary on a Saturday, I won't stream on the Saturday morning. I'll do it at 10 AM on the Sunday as opposed to 10 AM on the Saturday. So I'll always put it out on Twitter or in my Discord when I'm streaming on the weekends. But that's the pattern: Monday, Wednesdays, Saturdays or Sundays. Speaking of streaming as well, actually, tonight it is the Streamer Showdown Knockouts on the Sunday. Yesterday was the league system and I won the league system, which means I'll probably lose in the quarterfinals of the knockouts. But tonight from 6:45 onwards, you can catch me over on Twitch taking on some of the other best creators out there looking to try and win the title. Because I have really enjoyed doing On The Rocks this year on YouTube, I want to do a very similar style of save over on Twitch. So obviously starting with a decent team in a decent league and then trying to build ourselves up and the league up to #1 in the world. We've not managed it with Scotland, but I think we could manage it elsewhere over a longer period of time in a stronger division maybe. So I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, the Belgian league, the Dutch league, the Austrian league, something like that maybe. And again, I think what we'll do is we'll go live one day when the game comes out, right? And then we'll just put it to a vote. I'll narrow it down to a couple of teams and then we'll put it to a vote in the chat and the chat will decide which team we're going to play as. And then actually more content as well when it comes to FM22. I want to do a lot more evergreen content like your experiments, your guides and your sort of tactical videos, that kind of thing. But I want to do a lot of collaborations as well this year. I've got some ideas for collaborations that I want to do. So let me know what evergreen content you want to see in the comment section and which YouTuber you want to see me collaborate with. And of course, because we are talking about FM22 and we're talking about me becoming, hopefully at some point, a full-time YouTuber, it would be completely wrong of me to not talk about my FM22 affiliate link with 2Game. You can buy the game from 2Game for cheaper than Steam when you use code TomFM at the checkout for a 10% discount. You get an instant Steam key delivery, and of course it also gives you access to the beta. 2Game are a Sega authorized retailer, so it's all legitimate through there as opposed to other websites where it might not be quite as legitimate because they're not an authorized retailer. I use 2Game personally all the time. It's really good. I buy all my copies of FM22 there for giveaways, so make sure you get involved with that one. And then finally, just a few other little projects that I'm working on that I think you guys would be very interested in. Obviously, with more time being freed up for myself by going part-time, I want to dedicate some of that time to other projects that I'm quite excited and want to work on. I've been planning them for a long time, it's just that I never had the time to really act on it and work on it, so they were always at the bottom of the priority list. Now I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before, but I really want to start a Formula One podcast. I think that'll be really cool. There's a lot of plans in motion with it. It's going to be called the Grid Slot Pod. I've got some artwork done for it, which actually I've decided that I don't really like anymore, so I might get someone else to do something for it as well. But essentially the Grid Slot Pod was meant to start months ago, but as I say, always at the bottom of the list, always at the bottom of the priority pile, and now that I've got a bit more free time, this should free it up to do a little bit more stuff. The plan is for it to be a weekly podcast. It will come out on Mondays, so after a race it will be talking about that race and sort of, you know, what happened in the race, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff, and preview the next race. In weeks where there's no races, that's where we talk more about the biggest news in the Formula One world and more different talking points and stuff like that. So for me, I think it'd be a really cool podcast, and I hope you guys would like it as well. Sometimes it'll be just me, sometimes I'll have guests on there as well. I'm not entirely sure how that one will work out just yet, but I'll let you know when it's going to go live. I'd also like to do a second channel at some point as well. I've got an idea for a video in my head that I want to do that I don't think would really fit on this channel, so a second channel makes sense. No idea if I'd ever upload to it much or if there'd be ever really an upload schedule, but it would just be nice to have somewhere to just put some additional content as and when I want to make it, sort of thing. Essentially, these ideas are ones that I want to do really, really well and make really well. So there's no sort of time limits on it, like, you know, obviously everyday content here on the YouTube channel. This one, there'll be no limits on that one because I'd want to make it the best possible video I could make it as opposed to trying to rush it out. And then I also want to explore more business opportunities as well. Me and my mates are really into crypto at the moment and the whole NFT market as well. We'd love to do something with NFTs, so having more time will now free up some more time to work on some sort of NFT project that me and my friends want to do, that kind of thing. So there's a lot that I want to do, other project-wise, that I think you guys would be quite interested in, particularly the second channel and particularly the podcast sort of thing. But also, I'm talking about it all now so you guys can hold me accountable. So if in 2 or 3 months' time you say, Tom, where's the podcast? Tom, where's the second channel? I can say, right, I'm working on it because I need to, because I've told you that I'm going to do it, so I need to do it. And I think that wraps everything up. I've been talking for nearly half an hour. This has gone on longer than I thought it was going to go on for, so if you're still watching at this point, thank you very much, massively appreciate that. But that's everything that I want to talk about, all the changes happening in life right now, all for the better as well, all for the better. Hopefully the next 12 months are going to be really exciting. So I won't keep you any longer. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have done, make sure you do drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I will see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.